Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping.
Hey, welcome to Half the Battle. Well, we're back to the comic this week.
And we're looking at issue 30, Darkness. Like last time, the cover looks really promising. We've got the Dreadnoks doing what they do best, wanton destruction as they're tearing apart a Sky Striker. If you remember, issue 28 ended with Zartan and the Dreadnoks vowing to find the Joes, and now they finally found them. The opening page has them outside of McGuire Air Force Base, where they've spotted a Dragonfly helicopter. Buzzer, who's the smart one,
Cobra Commander knows I can't read.
In the comic,
nope, never ever letting that one go. Anyway, Buzzer identifies the Dragonfly as the same one they battled in the swamps. Zartan decides to investigate by just casually strolling in. Since this is Zartan, he uses his hologram technology to look like General Hawk, and he confirms that there are Joes there. Hell, he even talks to them.
you know, I'm pretty sure that they require some form of identification before they let you walk into a secure facility like that, no matter who you look like.
Otherwise, Helen Mirren could just dress up as the Queen again and waltz straight into Buckingham Palace. Anyway, Cobra Commander believes G.I. Joe headquarters is hidden on the Air Force Base and orders Zartan to continue surveillance. Meanwhile, just outside G.I. Joe's actual hidden headquarters, the Fort Wadsworth Chaplain's Assistant School on Staten Island, we see some new neighbors moving in. It's Fred Broca and his family, using the ARPCO Moving Company. Yeah, Cobra is nothing if not subtle. It's the Crimson Guard we saw last issue, getting ready to stake out a military base for any signs of Joe activity, and they've got a lot of setting up to do. In fact, they're so busy setting up, they miss the ambulances carrying Wild Bill and Deep Six into the pit. They're sent to G.I. Joe headquarters and not a proper hospital for plot convenience, since Wild Bill can run into Hawk and say he was just seen at McGuire Air Force Base, prompting an investigation.
And soon, everybody is on the move all at once.
The Joes are heading to McGuire in force, since they figured out Zartan was there, so they believe Cobra must be there too. Cobra is heading to McGuire in force, since they believe the Joes are based there. They're both wrong, but two wrongs seem to make a right, as they'll end up running into each other because of their false assumptions. Also, Cobra is traveling under the guise of the ARPCO Brothers Circus.
Like I said, subtle.
Back at Cobra headquarters, we see Billy again. Yeah, okay, that joke's getting old by now. Billy is gathering dirt on Cobra to get revenge on the commander. He is caught by Blood and the Baroness, who offer him a chance to do just that. Oh, and if you thought all that Joe equipment driving out of the pit would alert the Crimson Guard surveillance family, yeah, about that. They got a call minutes before telling them to pack it in, since the commander is convinced Joe headquarters is at McGuire, so they missed everything.
Fred takes this well.
You know, I'm pretty sure Cobra won't appreciate having hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment smashed. Then again, considering how many tanks, copters, and planes they go through, they probably won't even notice the expense report. Meanwhile, Zartan has been ordered to send the Dreadnoks to cut a hole in McGuire's perimeter fence, allowing Cobra forces to sneak on the base. Given what we saw on the cover, I'm sure they'll do well. True to form, after they've cut the hole, the Dreadnoks can't resist going on a rampage, even though Buzzer, you know, the smart one, initially objects. And they do promise to go on a quiet rampage. As long as we don't start a fire or blow something up, they'll never know we was here.
Yeah, because chainsaws are oh so quiet.
As the bikers get their knocks off, and we see an approximation of the cover, both Joe and Cobra are nearing the Air Force Base. This is when things hit the fan, as Buzzard gets a bit carried away and causes a Sky Striker to blow up, getting rid of that annoying element of surprise Cobra would have otherwise used. With that, Cobra has no choice but to launch a full-scale attack, as the Dreadnoks run the hell away on their motorcycles.
And I know I've said this before, but screw Hasbro for never giving the Dreadnoks proper motorcycles.
While fleeing, they run into the Joe team, who arrive with all guns blazing. Fortunately for the Noks, they decide to focus on the huge Cobra attack instead of 3 bikers. And so the battle is joined. Well, I say that, but it's totally one-sided. Cobra's forces are quickly overwhelmed and destroyed. Even Cobra Commander gets trashed, and he almost loses his clothes in the process. The Commander escapes by grabbing onto a Fang copter and using the exploding Hiss tank for cover.
Really, at this point, I could just show you stock footage of me saying Cobra Commander escapes every time I do a cartoon or comic review.
Dawn is breaking, and we see Ace lamenting the destruction of his Sky Striker. But he's assured Uncle Sam will give him a new one.
Ha! Millions and millions of dollars destroyed by 3 bikers. There should be Senate hearings about this.
And the comic ends with Destro and Firefly arriving in New York, vowing their revenge on Cobra Commander. The last 3 issues have closed out with the 2 of them saying they're gonna get the Commander, and his little dog too. They'd better be building up to something big here. And that was Darkness. Let's start with the title. Kinda heavy for a sorta light-hearted story like this. It refers to the attack on the airfield, which is at nighttime, but that only takes up half the issue. With a title like Darkness, I had expected a night mission or something that would last an entire issue. The story itself was good, but it did rely heavily on coincidence, like Cobra assuming the Joes were at Maguire, and then the Joes showing up. Also, it's a little too convenient the Crimson Guard spent an entire day outside the pit and not seeing a goddamn thing. And the Commander really should have known better than to entrust a delicate covert mission to the Dreadnoks. I mean, do these guys look subtle to you? One weird little detail is Cobra Commander referring to the Fang copters as Snap helicopters. I assume this is another instance of a preliminary name being used before Hasbro settled on the Fang name. Intrigue within Cobra continues, with the Baroness recruiting Billy to use against Cobra Commander. Though I wish Firefly and Destro would get on with it already. Also, they've gone from being in the swamps to traveling on a fishing boat for God knows how long. These guys must just smell wonderful by now.
Overall, it's not a bad little tale, with some great, though one-sided action. Well, see you next time, everybody.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. Because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping.